Hey guys, in today's video, I want to talk about a very serious situation that arose over the past few weeks. Now, this was brought to my attention by several of the viewers reaching out to me on my social media and just linking me to a bunch of articles surrounding this issue. Now, if you guys didn't already know, the topic at hand is about Alexander Kearns, who apparently committed suicide after seeing a negative $700,000 plus balance on his Robinhood account. Now, I just want to talk about all the facts, everything we know about the situation, and really just talk about, practicing good investing techniques, and as well as, obviously give my remorse to the situation and to the Kearns family for everything that has happened, because this was definitely a tragedy that should not have happened. We don't have all of the information as people just on the outside of this situation, and this does really have a profound impact on the company as a whole, moving forward, how they operate, and really how careful they should be with people's profiles and accounts as they move forward, because we've seen many issues in the past where Robinhood hasn't really been super accurate with their reporting, and they've had some very severe glitches that have caused people to lose, obviously hundreds of thousands of dollars in some circumstances. Now, this is a really hard topic to talk about, obviously, because there's a lot of people that are impacted by things like this. So I just want to say there's going to be links to, suicide helplines down in the description of this video, as well as the comment section. So if you or anyone is impacted by this in any way, and you really just need someone to talk you through this situation, then I'd highly recommend some of those. But anyways, let's talk about the facts of the situation. So really, I think the headline says it all in this situation. 20-year-old Robinhood customer dies by suicide after seeing a negative $730,000 balance. Now, here's a young kid, 20 years old, who's trying to better himself financially for the future. He's looking at investing different techniques, and in this case was trading options. And, obviously he felt a little bit overwhelmed and underprepared for what was going on, but didn't really understand the magnitude of his decisions when he started investing, from what I can read. Now, maybe I'm naive in my response that way, but you can see that there was a note found on his computer where he was actually questioning himself as well. How was a 20-year-old with no income able to get assigned almost $1 million worth of leverage? Now, this is a situation that I think Robinhood needs to take very seriously to try and educate some of their investors more around the powers of investing, risk tolerance levels, because there really is no barrier to get into investing. You can open up an account on Robinhood like nothing. I'm not even sure if they do a credit check around your application. So it's something that is very serious. I think education around investing, is what I really want to preach. That's what I want to focus on a channel like this, because I feel like it's so undervalued out there, the knowledge you can learn from just better investment practices. But it's not really about me in this case. Obviously, this is about this kid here, Alexander Kearns. And I just feel so deeply sorry for the whole situation and the family that's now having to go through this whole situation as well, and everybody who has been affected by this. So really, the details are as followed. So Robinhood's been capitalizing on a lot of new customers coming to the app, especially during this pandemic, where people are looking to start making more and more money in different ways. Now, Kearns took up stock investing during the pandemic, so he's completely new. I don't think he really knew much about it, and you really start to get that sense where later it says that his final note was filled with anger towards Robinhood and said that he had no clue what he was doing. Now, I myself have not seen the actual physical note that he left, but if this is true, then it's so upsetting to see this kid who was just trying to better himself and putting himself in this situation, and really ultimately was his downfall here. What we do know is there was a screenshot on his Robinhood account on his phone that displayed the negative $730,165 cash balance, but it may not have represented the uncollateralized indebtedness at all. So it was just temporary balance until the stocks that were assigned to his options had settled into his account. So if you don't know much about options trading, essentially it's a period of time where you buy either calls or puts depending on whether or not you think the price of the stock is going to go up or down. If it goes up above the value that you predicted it would go up to, you're what's considered in the money, and you're able to profit a lot easier than, obviously, if you don't hit that number by the certain date, you're not going to really make any money at all. But here's the thing, we don't know the extent to which this account may or may not have settled, in the positive versus the negative here. And I don't think we'll ever figure out that information, because Robinhood is not going to be sharing the details of Kearns' account because of privacy concerns. So they did state that all of them at Robinhood are deeply saddened to hear the terrible news, and they reached out to share their condolences with the family over the weekend. But this honestly was a situation that I feel like you almost could see coming if you were Robinhood, based on the response of different outages the app has been having. When there was spike in user base and it wasn't able to perform the way it should, they actually shut their app down for a full day and a half, and that was enough to be such a financial burden that they should realize that they need to get their stuff together and make sure that issues like this do not happen, because people take their money very seriously, as they should be. Now, there were probably, and I can't really assume, but I feel like there must have been some other underlying issues as well. Maybe this was the tip of the iceberg situation that kind of put it over the edge, or maybe this was a rash decision that was made based off of this malfunction where, you really think that you're not going to be able to dig yourself out from this tunnel. And either way, it's no excuse for Robinhood whatsoever to be able to, sweep this under the rug. I think they need to take the proper precautions going forward to ensure something like this never happens again. Now, Kearns' cousin-in-law actually came out, and basically he said that he thought everything was going fine. He had been in conversations with Kearns' father, and he had, they'd been discussing the stocks, the trading, and just that, Alex was having a good time with stocks, and he was really enjoying learning more about it. Now, in Kearns' final note that he left, he insisted that he never authorized margin trading and was shocked to find his small account could rack up such an apparent loss. And this is where the disconnect really starts to settle, when you don't actually realize how much money you're spending that you don't have, that you need to pay back to the companies that you're borrowing it from. There really needs to be an ingrained training program that really allows you or young investors to understand the magnitude of what they're getting themselves into. The article then goes into talking a little bit about what is known as bull put spreads, where essentially you're buying call options. If the market goes up, you'll be in the money, and you're also buying put options to minimize that. If the market goes down, then you're able to capitalize on that front. But the issue was, if you expire, in the middle between that, it doesn't hit either price, then you just lose out on that money. You're out of the money for those options, and if you don't sell at the right time, you could be down a very significant amount of money. The worst part about this whole situation is that it may not have actually resulted in such a huge negative $730,000 value after the funds in his account had settled. So if you want kind of more in depth on how his strategy was supposed to play out, they do a really good example of how to do a bull put spread in this article here. It talks about the funds settling and what prices you could expect. In this case, obviously they used Amazon, and they talk about exactly the situation that Kearns was expecting himself to be in. So if you're interested in dialing a little bit more information here, definitely check this portion of the article out. As a result, Kearns may not have realized that the negative cash balance displayed on his account and his home screen was only temporary, and that it would be corrected when the underlying stock was credited to his account. So in this particular situation, it's not uncommon for the cash and the buying power to be negative after the first half of the options are processed. Now, before the second options are exercised, even if the portfolio remains positive. So it's a lot of information to take in here, but what you need to know is this may not have been representative of his actual account. And even with options, I know for a while when the market just opens, your options value is shot down to zero. And I don't know if they've fixed this interface issue. I haven't traded options in a while, but I know every day when I did trade options, they would open up at $0 as if I had lost the value of the stocks, even if they were in the money. So it is really annoying. It's an interface thing that they have to deal with and should be corrected moving forward. The article also touches upon the slick interface of Robinhood, just talking about how maybe they shouldn't be focusing so much on, confetti popping and these really good eye-catching graphics, but in result, they should be focusing more on practical investment, making sure that functionality within each section is working up to a certain standard. Now, Robinhood took to Twitter to actually bring this issue to light, shed some light on the situation here, and they basically just came out and they said, all of us at Robinhood are heartbroken over the recent death of Robinhood customer Alex Kearns. Read the note from our founders about actions we're taking across eligibility, educational resources, and user interface. Now, it seems like they are going to take this issue pretty seriously, and I really do hope that they've done everything they can with this family working through their whole situation, because this leaves such a profound impact on so many different people, even across the world. Anybody who's been impacted by any type of suicide or any type of situation like this, it really brings open a lot of those wounds as well. And it is good to talk about, and obviously it is a touchy subject here, so I'm trying not to overstep any boundaries as I'm going forward with this video. Now, this note will also be found in the description of the video, but essentially it just talks about Alex. On Saturday, we learned that Alex Kearns, a Robinhood customer, died by suicide, and left a note citing confusion with our product. We quickly reached out to Alex's family to share condolences and offer to speak. We are personally devastated by this tragedy. Now, I think Robinhood definitely made the right move. They obviously need to go and do everything they can for this family right now, but also work and help the situation as a whole, suicide as a whole in general. And over the past week, the team has been focused on identifying how they could improve Robinhood's customer experience, specifically around our options flows involving multi-leg exercise and assignment. We want to share with you today what we are committed as a company moving forward. So they have actually identified some areas where they look to improve immediately, and they have started doing this, and it has started to roll out. Now, eligibility, they are considering additional criteria for education. I think this is almost essential in a situation like this. For customers seeking level 3 options authorization to help ensure customers understand more sophisticated options trading. Me personally, I really think that everybody should take an investing course before they start going into investing, just to get some general knowledge around the subject, because it is a very serious situation. You don't want to joke around about finances in any way, and you could find yourself in a sticky situation. Now, educational resources, they're expanding their educational content related to options trading, as they should. Again, I think it should be more than just options trading as well, but baby steps here. We have added information on early options assignments to our help center, and we will be hiring options education specialists to further enhance these education related to our options offering. So a situation like this, I really think that, another note and something I've talked about many times is customer service needs to be there for a lot of different reasons. And honestly, I think if they see an account that goes down such a huge value, a young investor, because they have all this information when you open an account, maybe an account representative should be reaching out to these people and just talking them through and explaining what's happening so they understand and they can make better educated decisions. Also, the user interface, in the near term, they're rolling out improvements to the app, messages, and emails they send customers around multi-leg option spreads, and they're also adding details to the in-app history page to help users understand the mechanics of early options assignments. They're also working on changes to the user interface, including the way buying power is displayed. Now, obviously, that is a direct result from this situation, because they want to make sure you're clear on how much money is actually in your account, what you're looking at, and how much it's going to go up or down in the future. Now, they note that it's going to take a bit of time for these to roll out, but the teams are working hard. Now, they also recognize that there's nothing that they can do to ease the pain of Alex's family, and in addition to the steps above, Robinhood is making a $250,000 donation to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and they obviously leave a helpline as well. So, I don't know, $250,000. I really think that after a situation like this that had so much publicity and has such, a direct call out in a suicide note, had such a direct impact on this situation, they should be doing everything they can. I don't know what that entails necessarily. Maybe they need to start doing some more fundraising aspects for it. Some type of suicide prevention within the app, talk about, maybe a suicide prevention week, or I really don't know. Obviously, it's a super touchy subject to begin with, but maybe as people are investing, just spread the awareness for situations like this to try and prevent and let them know that there are people out there looking to help out individuals in this situation. Now, it's not lost upon us that our company and our service has become synonymous with retail investing in America, and that has led to millions of new investors making their first investments through Robinhood. They recognize this profound responsibility and they don't take it lightly. Their aspiration is innovative, lead, and go beyond the status quo. They remain committed to providing the best investing experience as well as the resources customers need to stay informed. And that came directly from the co-founders and co-CEOs of Robinhood. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, the suicide prevention and the hotline will be in the description of this video. So if you or anyone you know of is in a situation where they need someone, they need to talk, and they just, are feeling overwhelmed with anything going on and might make a rash decision, then this is definitely a really good resource for you to have. Even just to know the numbers and know who to share it with is going to make a huge difference in someone's life one way or another. So a little bit of a depressing video here, but it really is important to shed light on this situation and talk about it and keep the conversation going and spark some change moving forward. So thanks for checking out this video, guys, and I hope you all have a great day.